An international student hid the birth of 3 children for 13 years before winning a lawsuit against the Australian government. A couple of overseas students from China fell in love while studying in Australia. Because they were afraid of family and identity problems, they chose to give birth to their children at home and hide them in their lives for more than 10 years. Until last year, they took the Hsinchu registry office to court. Finally, the birth certificates were replenished for 2 undocumented children, and the 3rd child was born and registered in the hospital according to the formal process. The hidden history of a family has also pushed children's rights, medical security, and immigration policy to the forefront. One, a complete review of the news report timeline starts from the unexpected pregnancy of high school sweetheart. Girls found pregnant in the 3rd year of senior high school, worried about family opposition, worried about affecting their studies and identity, thin figure, wearing loose clothes to cover up exercise. In order to save money, avoid exposure, and do prenatal checkups, I rely on online tutorials to give birth at home in a rented place. The child was not registered after birth, and he didn't go to physical examination and injection. Hidden parenting and undocumented growth. The child has no birth certificate and medical insurance record, so he can't go to school, so he can only go to school at home. My father worked odd jobs to make a living, and my family rented a house in the suburbs of Sydney. The 2nd child was still born at home. With the experience of the 1st child, the 2nd child still chooses to give birth at home and has not yet been registered. The medical treatment and vaccines of the 2 children are basically blank, and they passively touch the medical system unless they suddenly suffer from trauma. The squeeze of identity and reality? Parents and students have stayed in grey for a long time after their visas expire, and they are full of worries about going to the hospital and the government to apply for documents. As the 2 children grew up, the walls of education, vaccination, and medical treatment became higher and higher. Family, relatives, and friends finally saw through the truth that they secretly raised the baby. The 3rd child was born and registered in the hospital. With legal consultation and anxiety about the child's future, this time they chose to go to the hospital for prenatal checkup and give birth to the 3rd child. Register the birth according to the conventional procedure. Unlike the secrecy of the past, they began to follow a structured plan. The court showdown for the first 2 shots to recover the legal existence. Parents sued the birth, death, and marriage registry surnamed Joe, demanding a reissue of birth certificates for the first 2 children. The key evidence is DNA paternity test, photos of children's growth and living bills, written statements of neighbors and relatives and friends, combined with the common living track of the family, the passive medical records of the child, etc. But the child was born in Hsinchu and raised by 2 people. Key points of the award. The arbitration tribunal gave the probabilistic advantage standard to determine that the birth fact was established and ordered the registration authority to issue birth certificates for the first 2 children. In reality, 2 children can apply for school status vaccination and replanting, and gradually be incorporated into the routine medical and education system. The 3rd child is registered and the path is smooth. In one sentence, the first 2 children were corrected and the 3rd child was compliant. This family went from concealment to appearance, so that the children finally bid farewell to their undocumented childhood. 2. Key points of laws and policies. Birth certificate is not equal to nationality. What is a birth certificate? It is the official registration of identity and birth facts, not nationality or green card. Australian birth and citizenship are not universally applicable. After 1986, children born in Australia will automatically pass the 2nd level only if at least one parent is an Australian citizen or permanent resident. According to the realistic meaning, the birth certificate of the first 2 children means that the child can go to school, seek medical treatment, and get vaccinated, and change from undocumented children back to legal people. However, nationality has stayed for a long time, and it still needs to be realized through other legal channels. Whether a child can verify the acquisition of citizenship does not automatically occur due to the replacement of the birth certificate. Parents' identity planning, they seek to legalize themselves by consulting lawyers. During this period, priority is given to including children in the medical and educational system. Prosecution and filing should normalize life as soon as possible. 3. The triple pull between emotion and system in the focus of controversy. 1. Childhood concealment and the best interests of children. Lack of prenatal checkups, lack of vaccines, and routine physical examinations are medical risks. Long-term home education and no social assessment are growth risks. However, from the perspective of parents, due to identity anxiety, economic tension, and cultural pressure, they chose the least discovered way. The court's choice did not give priority to punishing parents, but aimed at letting children be seen by the system as soon as possible, reissuing birth certificates, and saving children's legal existence first. 2. Public opinion tears sympathy or condemns supporters for believing that children are innocent, and priority should be given to protecting children's rights and public health. Doubters believe that parents' avoidance of registration by concealing production poses risks to children and the public system, and sympathy cannot be used to reward illegal activities. The reality is that law enforcement and rescue go hand in hand, and we can neither give up law enforcement nor let minors become victims of institutional gaps. To prevent undocumented childhood medical gaps, systematic measures should encourage confidential and low-threshold medical access, allowing identity-concerned families to receive prenatal exams and child health care. Schools need post-enrollment identity verification and multilingual support to prevent the cycle of undocumented and unschooled children. The register provides a convenient channel for reporting births, supporting DNA and spacing guidelines, replacing the exceptional immigration policy with standardized procedures, establishing a unified assessment framework for minors in long-term families, and finding a stable order between child crimes plus interests and immigration rules. 4. This is not the case. 3 reminders for overseas Chinese families. 1. Don't let identity anxiety become medical absence. Maternity examination and child medical care are the bottom line. Even if you are worried about identity issues, you should try your best to seek community medical charities and redundant social workers. Helping most laws, seeking medical treatment itself will not be a signal of arrest. Remind the second child that the law exists, and the sooner it is filled, the better. Birth registration, medical card, and school status are the 3 doors of a child in the social system. The more it is delayed, the more difficult it is. The later it is, the more expensive it is, and the more troubles it will be. If you miss it reasonably, make up the report as soon as possible. Prepare paternity test photos, bills, medical records, and neighborhood certificates, and follow the official guidelines to follow the process. 3 reminders are made as an exception for seeking help as a path. Most laws have the norms of emergency medical treatment after birth and temporary school enrollment. It is not the back door, but the right way that is feasible according to law. If facing language barriers, prioritize multilingual legal aid and professional support instead of handling it alone. What do you think of this case? Are you more sympathetic to their situation, or are you more worried that breaking the rules will form a demonstration? What would you do if you were overseas and there were people around you who were in a dilemma between identity and medical treatment? If you like us, please pay attention to our little blue people and share your opinions in the comment area. You are also welcome to collect and forward this video so that more families can know that the legal existence of children can be made up for.